Hi, I'm Breadman. My main thing is sniping, and today, that's why I'm going to be teaching you everything that I've learned about snipers in the 1,467 days that I've played Warzone. Let's get into it. Firstly, let's start with the basics. What are the valid snipers to use in Warzone currently? As it stands, only 5 out of the 12 snipers in Warzone one-shot. For the sake of this video, we're only going to be considering one-shot snipers as they are the meta currently. In order from best to worst, we're looking at the Cat AMR, the Extra K Stalker, the MCPR, the FGX Imperium, and the Victus. Now, if you've been in the Warzone for a while, you'll remember the MCPR, FGX, and Victus all making their debut way back in Warzone 2. These snipers do one-shot, but only if you run the explosive mag attachment. This comes at an extreme loss of bullet velocity, therefore making them all subpar to the Warzone 3 snipers, the Cat AMR, and the Extra K Stalker. That comes with a catch though. The Extra K Stalker can only one-shot up to 83 meters max with the best build possible. Taking everything into consideration, this leaves the Cat AMR as the best sniper in Warzone. Not only can it one-shot infinitely, it one-shots no matter what. 0 attachments, 5 attachments, ground loot, loadout, this gun is a beast. That's how I've racked up 3,000 Cat AMR kills since Warzone has been out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the different builds for each sniper. I've went into my loadouts and categorized these snipers from best to worst. And again, we have the Cat, XRK, MCPR, FGX, and Victus. So if you're going to follow along, you can pause the video as I'm showing these builds, but do make sure you get these builds down as these are the #1 builds for these meta snipers in Warzone currently. Now again, for this Cat AMR, this is the best sniper in Warzone. It may not have the best bullet velocity, which you'll see come into effect in the next category, the leading category, but it does have everything else. It one-shots with 0 attachments, which 3 of the snipers that one shot need explosive mag. This does not. You can shoot infinitely in one shot, which the Extra K Stalker cannot do. Even though the Extra K Stalker doesn't need explosive mag, it can only one shot up to 83 meters, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But this sniper has it all. Its ADS is not that bad. It's a tank. Its bullet velocity is great. So when you're ADSing at people from range, say 300 meters out, it's very easy to get your target down. And again, we'll be looking at that in the leading category, but for now, just get this build down and we'll talk about the other snipers here in just a second, heading into the XRK. Now for the XRK, keep in mind, this sniper does one-shot. This is a Modern Warfare 3 gun, but it only one-shots up to 83 meters. So if you're using this build and you're like, yo, Bread, the gun's not one-shotting, the people are probably more than 83 meters away, or you could be hitting the neck. This does one-shot. And I do want to say, you could be missing, I know a lot of great players run this XRK build and they run a laser on it. The laser that a lot of people run is this SL Razorhawk laser light that came out most recent, and I believe it was the Season 2 update. I will say, I am a massive laser hater. I don't think lasers belong on any of your guns, and that's just because lasers are very visible now. When you ADS at someone and your laser's going all over their forehead, they're scrambling like an egg, folding like an omelet. They're trying to figure out where you're looking at them from, which it should not be like that. Like if you're looking at someone, they should not know you're looking at them because it makes the shot a lot easier for you. So what I went and did is made a build without a laser. I put the XRK Stalker factory rear grip on there instead of the laser, which basically does the exact same thing, but gives you that added kind of stealthy advantage. And you'll notice none of these builds have a laser on it. I'm a big proponent of not having a laser. So that's the XRK build. Let's go ahead and head into the MCPR. And again, I will say this is an example of a Warzone 2 gun. The MCPR, Victus, and FGX are, but you'll see these all run explosive mag, and you'll see the explosive mag makes the bullet velocity terrible. You could see minus 48% bullet velocity here for this explosive mag, and this is the only way that the gun will one-shot. The reason that it one-shots with the explosive mag is the base damage for the MCPR to the head is 299, and this explosive bullet does 1 damage. So when you headshot someone, you do 299 damage with the sniper to them, but you also do 1 damage with the explosive, which downs them. Now this at the start was not intentional, but they left it in the game because they enjoyed the one-shots towards the end of Warzone Warzone 2 with this explosive bullet feature. And you could see with that killed bullet velocity, it made them a little bit balanced. But there's absolutely zero reason to run these guns now. I am giving you these builds so that you have them, because maybe this is the only gun that you have leveled up. But I mean, if you go and look at the XRK Stalker's bullet velocity, you'll see that it's absolutely insane. I mean, this has 1200 meter per second bullet velocity in one shots. The Cat EMR is around 1000. There's no reason for you to be running the other ones. But again, if you want the builds, here's the builds. Again, here's the FGX. I don't mean to shit on these guns too much, but these are the ones that one shot, and they are good because they one shot. But again, the bullet velocity just makes them not worth it. However, if you're a big fan of the way these guns look, or the OG feel of some of these guns, especially the Victus, which is next, then it makes sense. But I did want to at least provide builds for these guns for you. But I do want to say, taking everything into consideration here, the Cat EMR is really the only sniper that you should be using. If you're going to level up any of these, it's definitely the only one you should level up. But the XRK Stalker is also good if you are pretty aggro and you know you're slide canceling around, you're taking fights like that. But all these other guns are just in case you have them, you know, and that's really the only reason you should use them. But let's go ahead and look into our next category here for the snipers. Sometimes it's tough to know where to shoot at to accurately headshot people consistently. Whether they be 50 meters away, 100 meters away, moving, standing still, whatever, finding that consistency is the key to being a good sniper. I've went ahead and made a legend that shows you the guide to your snipes in Warzone. This legend was made in paint, so please don't roast me, but it gets the point across. Keep in mind, this legend is accurate for a 1000 meters per second bullet velocity, which is exactly tuned for my Cat AMR build that I just showed you. I also went into a plunder match with Lula to show some examples of where to lead from different distances in different settings. I tested a 50 meter shot, a 100 meter shot, a 200 meter shot, and a 300 meter shot in 3 different environments. These are important scenarios to pay attention to, because the more you familiarize yourself with these shots and environments, the more likely you are to hit the shot that counts when you're in the war zone. If it's beneficial to you, when you see an enemy in-game and can't tell how far away they are, place a ping down either on them or near them, and that ping will show you exactly how far away they are right at the top of the diamond. Reference this with the legend, and you've got a shot to hit. Once you master leading shots on people that are relatively standing still, you can start to tackle people that are moving horizontally or flying out of the sky. These shots are tough to consistently hit, and even at the highest level, I only hit around 50% of the shots on people in the sky. The best tip I can give for floaters is to shoot a shot and then look at the bullet trail for that shot. Is it in front of where they were? Behind of where they were? Use that reference to guide your next bullet, and so on and so on. The more you practice this moving maneuver, the better your shots will end up. To shoot someone that's moving horizontally on the ground, the same guide that I showed you earlier will suffice. If they're within 75 meters, tap them on the head. But if they're further, then the same distance that you lead up and down, or in other words, vertically, the same distance you need to lead left and right, or horizontally. With a good foundation of the basics, it's only a matter of time before you're hitting shots you never thought you'd hit consistently. Remember to reference the legend. Let's talk about our next category, peeking. Effective peeking is a very underrated part of being a good sniper. Peek out in the open, and you're immediately laid out by someone with an AR or an LMG. Peek through a really small vantage point, and you're more than likely going to miss your shot. It's all about finding that balance. Best thing that a sniper can do is end up on a power position or a height of some sort so that they can't really be taken advantage of. Everyone's had that moment where they turn around and see a full paparazzi of 4 guys sitting on top of a building sniping at them. There is something to learn from this though. A good sniper looks over their team, so make sure that you're consistently on top of buildings or structures that have a good vantage point over the battlefield. A lot of people complain about sniping, but don't realize that when you run a sniper, you give up an entire range of damage, making you super vulnerable. If you run an SMG in a sniper, what are you going to use in the mid-range? And if you run an AR in a sniper, what are you going to do in a close-range engagement? To remedy these issues, I've made 3 sniper support options for you to run, so when you're rotating from point A to point B, you're able to defend yourself properly at all damage ranges. Firstly, I've made this HRM, which dominates in close range and mid-range engagements. This is definitely my top pick for sniper supports currently. Secondly, I've made this BP50, which as an AR inherently does well in the mid-range, but this gun specifically does exceptionally well up close. You can also put this gun in tac stance by aiming down your sights and meleeing, which gives it a super fast playstyle. And lastly, I've made this Striker, which is one of the most underrated guns right now. It's a submachine gun, but don't be surprised when you're beaming people from range. Hopping into our last section of the video, I have a couple more tips to improve your sniping ability right off the bat. Firstly, the #1 method to bring attention to yourself is to run a sniper. When you aim down sights, you make a big glint that is hard to miss for enemies on the battlefield. This is why it's exceptionally important to always have a self-revive. The self-revive for a sniper is the single most important item in the game besides the airstrike. Remember to gather $4,000 as soon as possible and head to your nearest buy station. Alternatively, you could open medicine cabinets in the bathrooms of buildings and hope to pick one up that way. Also, remember when you're sniping that another sniper could always be eyeing you. If you move left to right often, but never too consistently, it could be hard for enemy snipers to pin down your spot before their cover is blown. Throwing in the occasional crouch or prone could also throw them off, but acknowledging your surroundings is the most important part of being a sniper. When someone has shot at you once, they've blown their cover and you can immediately prepare to return fire. One way to consistently know that you're being looked at is to run high alert. This perk is available in your 4th perk slot, and whenever people look at you will trigger an orange radius around your screen. This is a sniper's paradise, as no longer are you going to be snuck up on or shot without first having some sort of inkling to the fight. All in all, remember to accurately pack for your sniping trip. Self-revives, precision airstrikes, mortar strikes, and other kill streaks and field upgrades will be very useful for yourself in the battle. If you did enjoy the video today, make sure you leave a like as it really helps me out, and consider subscribing. The growth recently has been incredible and I really can't thank you guys enough. I'm really looking to get more consistent and good content for your viewing pleasure, and comments and feedback really motivate me. Until next time guys, peace.